Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. As promised, we're taking a way too early look at some of the top 2026 NFL draft prospects at quarterback. These are not ranked. Not all of them will turn pro. There's assumptions of growth for all of these players. I don't want to get too tied up into like, well, you had them ranked in May at 5. Why did it change? Well, everything changes, so I don't want to get overly attached to it. There is some semblance of like kind of hype rankings in these as we go along, which means we begin with Arch Manning because, why bury him at the end of the video when that's all people want to talk about pretty heavily there. Listed size, listed ages, sometimes some discrepancies. The Athletic PFF had him at 20. Google's got him at 21. But Google AI now is kind of weird and wonky, so asterisks it all until we get to the actual dates and stuff. Arch has a lot of the tools you covet in a QB. The physical skill set is good. He runs more like Cooper than he ever did Peyton and Eli, and runs more like Archie, frankly. He also hasn't played at all. 108 career dropbacks that's 2 games for some teams and players, 2 extreme games, but he hasn't been a true starting quarterback yet. If he does all the things we think he can do, that's potential number 1 overall pick stuff. There is still development that has to occur. And that is a key factor in why, especially if you listen to the Manning family, a lot of buzz of, he might not turn pro, actually. So we'll see. A lot of eyes going to be on Arch Manning because of the name, because of the pedigree, because of the school. We'll all get a good look at him this year. So early predictions. Will Arch Manning turn pro after this season? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Let's go to Drew Allar. And in general, one note I'll make, we are back with big QBs. No more of these 5'11 guys, these big guy at 6'2. Now we got a bunch of 6'3 and 6'4 and 6'5 dudes, including Drew Allar. The size, the arm strength combination, it's all anybody wants. Like that's classic quarterback stuff. The consistency as a passer, especially on third downs and especially under pressure, is not there yet. And that's the stuff that helps elevate you into an actual NFL QB. The best of Drew Allar looks like the number 1 overall pick. The worst of Drew Allar, oh boy, there's just some real major inconsistency red flags. I'm glad he went back to school because he might have gone super early given the quarterback class last year, but it's going to make for a more complete profile and a more confident profile in his scouting overview. Let's go to another young guy, LaNorris Sellers. Doesn't turn 20 until June, by the way. He's still 19 years old. Has great size, 6'3", 242, and carries it well if that is the actual weight. He doesn't look like he's 242. It's a very properly measured and distributed 242 pounds there. Dual threat ability, mobility, size, arm strength, and really intriguing flashes. Even operating in the pocket, which, as we'll get into some of these other guys, I don't think have the level of in the pocket, stand in there and make the throw stuff. Some of it's just kind of outside of structure chaos, which is great, but you need to have the in-structure stuff too. Doesn't throw with great anticipation, though. It needs to be better in that area. Also has to cut down on the fumbles. He had a ton of fumbles last year. That's why when I do stats, I don't just do interceptions. I do turnovers because fumbles are a turnover too. And you can be a great athlete, but if you're fumbling a lot, that's kind of a red flag. Fumbles lost, by the way, not just pure fumbles. There were a lot for both, though. But the upside of Sellers is as high as anybody in this class. Who do you think, way too early predictions, will be the first quarterback drafted in 2026? Let me know at the pinned comment of today's show. Another big quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, who transferred to Indiana from Cal, listed at 6'5", 225. Following like I lovingly refer to them as film nerds. It's not a bad thing. That's kind of the whole purpose of draft stuff. There's a lot of film nerds that are high on Fernando Mendoza, and I get why. I think the arm is good, the mobility is good. He checks off all these different boxes you're searching for, even showcasing some really intriguing, pre and post snap work in terms of being able to identify and stand in there, make the throw, hit some of those over the middle throws. I think he holds the ball a little bit long. I think that at Indiana, you're hoping for better than Curtis Rourke's season. I think he can add some more weight to that 6'5" frame. I think there is some maybe overexcitement on Mendoza, but I think the raw traits are there, and he'll become a much more household name now he's playing at Indiana Big Ten times instead of, Cal times. Let's go to Garrett Nusmire, the Nussbus, the son of Doug Nussmeier, the current Saints offensive coordinator. He's a fun player, sometimes frustrating to me. He is a gunslinger through and through, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. He needs like 15% less Tony Romo, where he just like, what are you doing? Like bad Romo, by the way. Like, why make that throw at all? What are you seeing? There are moments like he does actual progression read stuff, which like a lot of QBs in the modern day college football are like, they don't do it. They do half field reads, they do RPOs, they do one and go run, one and go scramble. But he's undersized, he's not a great athlete, and he has to win in the pocket. Pocket manipulation stuff too, but he's not going to be someone that you're out there like, yeah, he bought time with his legs on the run and threw it down. I feel like that's not how he wins. He'll attack the middle. He'll make some big-time throws. He'll also just make terrible decisions. And if that decision-making gets better, he's going to get a lot of round one buzz, even though he is older. If it doesn't get better, I might be looking at career backup then. Now, there are NFL jerseys available for under $100. Go to chatsports.com/jersey deal. These are official NFL jerseys, by the way. I'll put the link in the comments section and the description of today's show. The clickable little banner over there in the other corner as well. All those jerseys you'll see at that link are under $100. They are the official Nike jerseys. Get yours today, chatsports.com/jersey deal. I think Cade Klubnik out of Clemson is, relatively speaking, a little bit undervalued. I would think that a former five-star QB at Clemson would be getting more buzz than what he is. He's not the biggest. He doesn't have overwhelming size. The Clemson offense at times is very, one read, half field, not having to go through your progressions. But I think every single year, Cade Klubnik has gotten better, which means it is a reasonable assumption that he's going to be better this season. I think that stuff should not be overlooked. He does actually offer mobility. Even though he's not the biggest, he'll get some tough yardage for you that maybe you don't want to ask him to do in the NFL. I saw ESPN at one point put him at number 1 overall. I'm not sure I'm that high up there, but I do think the trait should get him in that same conversation of the other top potential round 1 picks. I've seen some mocks where he's not in round 1 at all. I think he should be. Let's go to John Mateer. It is Mateer, not Mater, as funny as you Cars fans might think that. Densely built, 6'1", 220. There's a couple guys on this list that we're going to go to almost all in a row. They are awesome college QBs. He's super fun. He is a blast to watch if you happen to watch any Washington State games last year. He's out there running around, making plays, buying time, great running ability. Put up big production last year. Had almost 4,000 total yards of offense, 44 touchdowns. No one really talked about him. Goes to Oklahoma. He'll be on a much more national stage here. The passing consistency has to be better. I don't normally like it when it's great for college and I enjoy it, but from a pure NFL perspective, run around, make play, backyard football style QB isn't always my favorite because I think that's a harder translation and harder adjustment to life in the NFL where everybody's bigger and faster. He's going to get bigger and faster in the SEC. If he's still making great plays, awesome. It helps, but it's just not going to – that style doesn't always fly in the NFL unless you're a special athlete. How many QBs go in round 1 of the 2026 NFL Draft? Let me know in the comments of today's show. A lot of what I just said for John Mateer goes for Samlev out of Iowa State too. He's not as densely built. I actually would almost worry more about – he's an inch taller. He's also 20 pounds lighter. Like, let's get some more body armor on you. There's good athletic ability. He is undersized, and he does tend to be kind of run around, buy time, make plays happen guy, which makes for electric college football watching. I need more consistent passing ability. I don't want to get too caught up in completion percentage, but if you're hovering around 60% in this day and age of college football, I actually do get a little bit concerned. Let's go to Carson Beck, who, now at Miami, by the way, has size, has experience. The sell, and we kind of may mention this on videos last year, the sell on Carson Beck was, he's not going to make mistakes. He's going to be accurate. He can be a good distributor of the football as a pocket passer. And then he kind of wasn't last year. Like, he wasn't that guy. Everything got worse. He had more touchdowns, sure. His interceptions doubled. His yards per attempt dropped by over 1.5. His completion percentage dropped off. The accuracy was high in 2023. Boy, you can go watch some of them Brock Bowers highlights. There's a lot of throws that are not actually on target that Brock Bowers brought in. Then he leaves, and you have a big drop-off in completion percentage. Now he's at Miami. I'm very curious how that schematic fit is going to look. But I think I need either significantly better just consistency as a passer out of Carson Beck, or showcasing way more dynamic than I've seen previously, or else I'm not going to be super high on him. If you want even more NFL draft videos, come to the right spot. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Some under-the-radar names to consider. How about Talon Green out of Arkansas? Hey, 6'6", 230, that boy big. 22 years old is the listed age there, by the way. Kind of like LaNorris Sellers. It's a fascinating size, speed, physical traits profile. The accuracy in general has to improve. I can't have you completing 60% of your passes. Like, that's not really going to cut it for me. We're talking about top-end prospects. The mobility is really intriguing. You know, he had 8 touchdowns on the ground this past year, 600 yards on the ground too. The upside's intriguing. He's definitely one to watch of, like, you know, potential development. But I do need to see just better sheer consistency as a pure passer. Another sleeper, Aiden Childs out of Michigan State, who began his career at Oregon State with Jonathan Smith, now the Sparty head coach. I think he's a sleeper to monitor. He's young. He's got solid size. Has traits you kind of look for. There's some flashes of really intriguing stuff. The consistency is not there, which, yeah, he's 19 years old. Like, that kind of makes some sense. The Michigan State offense will put him in some beneficial spots, heavy play action stuff, run-heavy play calling. The stats do not pop off the screen. Not at all. Sub 60%, not my thing. 2-to-1 TD interception ratio. Got to be better, but there are, I think, some tools to work with here. But I think that Michigan State can develop him. If it doesn't happen there, I question it's going to happen elsewhere. How about Miller Moss? Kind of overlooked after flaming out at USC. Shout out, I forget who it was like, is USC better off with Miller Moss than Caleb Williams at QB? Real takes that happened after week 1. All Jeff Brom does is churn out backup QBs. He's done it repeatedly. I think look, he got Tyler Shuck to be a top 40 pick. Why can't he get better play out of Miller Moss, who put up like 2024 production that was like not that dissimilar to Shuck's career production going into last season at Louisville? I don't think the physical skill set is there to be anything more than a backup, but I think he can put up some good numbers in that Louisville offense. Handful of other names just to kind of mention briefly here. I know there's some fans of Sawyer Robertson out of Baylor. I'm not as high. Again, some of this, it could have been the same, like Miller Moss, Childs, et cetera tier. Nico Amalivia from Tennessee. That's very mean, but we're going to do it. UCLA, I don't think he should go pro at all. He's not. That dude wilts under pressure. He is not ready. Dante Moore, you can throw in a Ty Simpson, other highly formerly touted recruits. I think Moore might need 2 years. Mark Gronowski now at Iowa. We'll see if that Iowa offense is any better passing, but he had some fans at South Dakota. Connor Wigman was last year's favorite for some of QB1, and I never understood it, and he lost his job. Maybe he'll be better at Houston. Other under the radar names, Rocco Beck. Hey, this other QB obviously just got paid big money in Brock Purdy. Eli Holstein, Byron Brown, Avery Johnson, Darian Mensah, all have some chaotic elements to their game, which can lead to some pros and cons. Darian Mensah got big money from Duke. I'm very curious how he plays this upcoming season. That's a lot of names. There are plenty of names not on this list. So if there's someone you want me to pay attention to, drop that player name for me in the comments of today's show.